Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and this mailbag was filmed on May 17th, so today. And if you want to get on the show, you got to use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to skip the line and do this. So, way that this is going to work is I challenged y'all last week. If we hit 1,000 likes on this video, I will do a mailbag next week. I'm going to keep this thing running. Every single Friday, my plan is to do a mailbag to have a good time, and if we get to 1,000 likes, I will do another one. Patrick! Bang! Extra cheese, double pepperoni. My question to everybody out there was this. Do you eat cheese pizza? Yes or no? If the answer is yes and you're over the age of 18, I really question a lot about you. Also, I was wondering if there's an update list of the jersey number changes for Raiders players for this coming season. If you go to the Raiders official roster, they should have an update of all the numbers. I know a few people have changed, like Zamir White has changed his number, Trevon Merrick changed his number. I actually just talked about David Agoa changing his number the other day. Aidan O'Connell changed his number to number 12. So if you actually go to the Raiders official roster, they should tell you what the new number is. If you want to look at what the old number was, I would say the easiest way to do it just from personal experience is go on Google, look at that player, and then just like sort out the year of when the pictures came out. Let's go to my man, Suicide Guns. I want to see what Laube can do. Is that a question? I also want to see what Laube can do. I want to see not only can he catch the football, like that I know, but can he be a valuable asset in the special teams game? And what I'm really going to see is if he's playing special teams, the Raiders probably don't think that he's going to be all that great as a running back. It's just the truth. If they don't use him at special teams and they have him on the field a little bit more and they really, really use Amir Abdullah in special teams, I think that kind of shows you like what they think of Laube and Amir Abdullah in that depth chart. Let's go to Thug the Door. What's up, brother? 2 primetime games is disrespectful. Love the bye week, though. Week 10 bye week is a great one. Depends how you consider primetime games. Friday, week 13 against the Chiefs. And then they also have Monday Night Football against the Falcons. The honest part about this is this, man. It is the Raiders don't have a quarterback that people think is good. I mean, hell, I saw an article about the Raiders having the worst quarterback room in the NFL. NFL is about QBs. The Raiders have arguably the worst quarterback room in the league. That's why they didn't get a primetime game. Whether you like that or not, it's just the truth. Patrick Starr, what's up, man? Are the rumors true that the Raiders are interested in J.C. Jackson? I'll be honest, I have not seen any rumors around the Raiders being interested in J.C. Jackson, but I will say this. I would be shocked, and I mean shocked, if the Raiders signed Jackson. And the only reason why that I say that is because Telesco signed Jackson to play with the Chargers, if you remember, and it got so bad, their relationship, that Jackson refused to go into the game. I think actually the game that the Raiders were playing the Chargers back in week 4 last year, Jackson refused to go in the game, and it was like the next week he ended up getting released, and they ended up eating a whole bunch of dead money. So based on that alone, if the Raiders went out and signed Jackson, I just think it would be one of the most shocking things, and I know that they need a corner, but with all the other good corners out there on the market, my answer to this is a very, very, very hard pass. So should the Raiders sign J.C. Jackson? We're going to make this the pinned comment here on today's show. Scroll on down, give me your answer. S for sign, P for pass. Let me know. My answer is a big old fat no. And if the Raiders are going to sign a corner, these are the guys that you go with. If you're looking to sign a corner, it's one of the top 4 names. If you want to add a veteran that knows the defense, has a relationship with Gerald Alexander, the Raiders safety coach. Peterson did play safety last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers when Micah Fitzpatrick went down. These are the guys that you consider. JC wants way too much money, and he quit on his team last season. That's just not what I want. I don't need another Marcus Peters on this team. Let's go to Taino. What's up, brother? How many offensive linemen do we keep? I like this question a lot. My projection is 8. And the reason why that I say 8 is you got your starting 5, which is, I think, the obvious of Colt Miller, Jackson Powers-Johnson, Andre James, Dylan Parham, and then Thayer Munford. And then I think you're going to keep Andres Pete, who's going to be like the backup left guard, left tackle. Cody Whitehair is going to be the backup left guard, center, right guard. And then Delmar Glaze, who's going to be the backup right guard, right tackle. I'm a big believer that the Raiders spent a lot of money not really a lot of money, but money on the offensive line, and kind of just showed us this offseason free agency and in the draft that building that interior is one of their really, really important things that they're trying to do. So because they did that, I'm just thinking that they're going to keep the 8 guys, and then they'll probably keep like a Jordan Meredith and maybe 2 other practice squad guys just in case one of those dudes end up going down. Before I get into more questions coming up here on the show, again, use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to skip the line. I got to give a shout out to our awesome sponsor here, Prize Picks. And I love Prize Picks because I don't know if you guys saw this. You can actually go on Prize Picks right now. Take Scotty Scheffler. They did a fun deal. They had a picture of his mugshot today, and basically it was just like, is he going to take a stroke? I think that's awesome. Shout out to Prize Picks for having some major cojones. If you want to put some money down on the Knicks game tonight, you can do that as well. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Just make sure that you use code CLNS for that first-time deposit match. If you've never done Prize Picks, I'll say this. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks. If you want to see Chugs' picks, he can do it as well. And you can get your entry in 60 seconds or less. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Prize Picks is simple. You just pick more or less than. I mean, you can kind of see what Chugs did here with Dak, Xavier, Brock Bowers. All those are in there. And we've kind of talked about these before on this show. And I think when you make a pick here like Prize Picks more or less, you should also do it like something that you want to happen, right? Yeah, you can put your money where your mouth is and all that good stuff, but you should also like want it to happen. Like, I don't want Chris Jones to have a good year. I want Brock Bowers to have more than 4.5 touchdowns. So if you're kind of in that same regard, you can go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Just make sure that you use code CLNS. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. Shout out to them for sponsoring the Raiders Report. Also, if you guys put any money in your pocket, don't be afraid to show that love to Chugs and I. Let's go to One Shot 89. What's your projected lineup for cornerback? I would say right now, and depending on how the Raiders want to go about their secondary, I would say that the entire defense in general, if I was the Raiders, I go 2 linebackers, have 5 DBs on the field at all times, and you're going to have Epps, Mary are going to be your safeties. I know you asked about corner, which then means Hobbs and Jack Jones. You're going to put Hobbs in the slot. He's going to be like your hybrid, throw him all over the football field. Jack Jones outside corner. If the season started today, I might roll with the Camryn Richardson. The more and more I watch on him, the more and more I like him more than Jacorian Bennett. But like, I would say it's between Jacorian, Brandon Faison, you got to cut him, save that 2.6. And then Camryn Richardson would be the top 3 guys right now competing for that cornerback spot. Let's go to Sirach Dar. Since you aren't confident in the RBs, I think that was an autocorrect, should we sign another back? What about Dalvin Cook? I'm not confident in our running back group. I did say it's our weakest position group as a team. And again, I don't think that's an outlandish thing to say. You have Zamir White, who, yes, he played great for 4 games last season, but like, Zamir is an unproved running back. Is he a top 20 back in the league? I don't know. Can he be? Sure. But for a whole season, you got to do it. It's a little bit different. Alexander Madison, he was, he's a backup running back. You got, I like Laube. I know we like Sincere McCormick, Amir Abdullah. And Dalvin Cook's got name value. He signed with the Jets last season, 1 year, $8 million deal. But he was washed. And, I got to give Seeps, our guy who runs our Vikings show here, a lot of credit. He literally was like, Dalvin Cook's one of the worst running backs in the league. And you look at a lot of the advanced metrics behind that, and it showed that Cook was bad for the Vikings. Then he goes to the New York Jets. Sure, they probably plan to have Aaron Rodgers there, but they said, no, we're going to move on from Dalvin Cook. I just think sometimes we fall in love with the name value because it's a running back that at one point in the league was one of the better backs. This guy is not even close to what he was, and quite frankly, I am not interested in Dalvin Cook. Now, if you can sign him for like a deal like a Michael Gallup where it's 1 year and he can make up to $3 million, sure, but I don't think that that's what Dalvin Cook's going to sign for. Let's go to David A. Think we could get Cousins since they got Penix? No. The Falcons will have Kirk Cousins on their team this year. When you look at the contract, they'd have to eat like $50 million or something like that to trade him. That's not going to happen. I know the Broncos decided to do that with Sean Payton, but a first-year head coach isn't going to do that. It's going to be definitely something to watch and monitor. I'll say this, though. Kirk Cousins won't be a Falcon next season. Let's go to Ron Raspberry. If we sign Xavier Howard, Nelson or Gilmore? All right, so Steven Nelson, Stephon Gilmore. What do you think the contract would look like? If all three of these players had good agents, which they do, all three of these players will sign after June 2nd when all those teams get some extra money. I would say that you're probably looking at $7 to $8 million per year. I don't know if any of these guys will get longer than a one-year deal. I also don't know if any of these guys would want longer than a one-year deal. If you were to ask me which dude probably signs a deal longer for the Raiders, it would be Xavier Howard because of his connections with our coaching staff and past players. But I would say Gilmore might be the only guy that might make more than $10 million. But even that, I would be a little bit shocked by. Easton, what's up, brother? Did you see PFF said that the Raiders had the worst quarterback room in the NFL? Broncos? I did see the article. It's actually what I was kind of hinting at earlier on in the show. PFF released an article about like the best and worst position groups after like the draft, free agency, the offseason, where we're at. And PFF said that the best quarterback room, shocking, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, but the worst quarterback room, according to PFF, is the Raiders. And I'm not really shocked that the Raiders get put in that stance because you got Gardner Minshew, who's been a career backup. You got Aidan, who most NFL teams look at as a backup. And then, like, for me personally, I don't think that they're the worst quarterback room. I've said it before that the Broncos, to me, are the worst room. But then again, what do you guys think? Do the Raiders have a bottom 5 QB room in the NFL? Give me a yes. Give me a no down below. I think other teams that deserve to be in that conversation, absolutely the Denver Broncos. Again, I'm not a believer in Bo Nix, but if you are a believer in Bo Nix, I mean, he was drafted in round 1, so like that's probably why he doesn't really get mentioned in this conversation all that much. The Titans are probably a team that need to be in this list here because I don't think that they're very good. The Vikings, I have never been a believer in J.J. McCarthy, and that's a battle between him and Sam Darnold. And then the New York Giants, I think, deserve to be in that list. Though I would rather have Daniel Jones as my QB than the Raiders quarterbacks right now, but that's not great. What up, Cloud? Do you think AOC will start any games this season? Maybe. I mean, AOC is just as good of a chance as Gardner Minshew to start. Even though I do think Gardner is the better quarterback and does end up winning the battle, it is AOC's job to lose. I mean, if you're getting the first snap and you go out there from the moment you take that first snap and you're better, you're going to get an opportunity to start. I will say that I do think both Aidan O'Connell and Gardner Minshew start at least one game this season. And any Raider fan that doesn't think that at least one of those guys is going to start, I'm just going to throw this out there. They don't have any commitment to Gardner. They don't have any commitment to Aidan, whether it's money, whether it's many, many years on that deal. And those guys are not good enough where they're just not going to not struggle. You know what I mean? Like, they might go out there and they give you a few good games, but there will be a guarantee where Gardner has a clunker. Guaranteed where Aidan has a clunker. They're not good enough quarterbacks in this league where they don't have a bad game. And when that does happen, and if it just piles on, you could see some people begging for a quarterback change. What up, Rebel? Any plans for a fan meetup at Raiders training camp in LA? I've seen you've been pushing this. Chugs and I would love to be able to do it. It just comes down to, can we afford to do it as a company? You know what I mean? Like, I know sometimes when you guys see some of the super chats, some of the Venmos that we get, but that doesn't go in Chugs and I's pocket. It goes into our company pocket to be able to get you guys more content. Now, if we figured out a way to get some content at training camp, maybe we could persuade our bosses, but I've been actually trying to go to LA. I've never been to LA. I know that there's a huge Raiders party every single year in Orange County or in LA, but if you guys can get some details on some stuff, I can at least put it in front of my bosses and see what they have to say. Remember, y'all, if you want videos around the silver and black, we got you covered here. I do got to give a shout out to John Sheff, where he was our MVP from our Thursday live show, hence why I'm rocking this jersey. But this show isn't just about people who, make us do crazy shit on here. It's also about people that take time out of their day to watch these videos, that are subscribed, that are part of the Noti Gang. And I give so many shout-outs to the Noti Gang as much as I do because these are people that do mean a lot to me. These are people that I see all the time in the comments when I'm on YouTube. I always see that they're the first people to comment. So shout out to Roger, Raider Nation for Life, JMO H, a.k.a. Devil J, Andrew Raider, and then Raider Rob 672. What? What did I say? Andrew, Andre, Raider, my bad. Shout out to you. Remember, y'all, though, seriously, we're going to be doing more mailbags if you want them to happen. We go live every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. My dad is in town next week, so I will say this. Our Friday happy hour show next week will be on Thursday, and it's going to be even a little bit earlier. I haven't seen my dad in a long, long time, and I'm excited to party with them, maybe Oakland style.